guys, welcome back to Vlogmas Eve.
Hold on, it's time for it to reappear.
Today we're going to be testing out this, I don't know how to pronounce it, Phoera, I don't know, P-H-O-E-R-A, Soft Matte Longwear Liquid Foundation. When I was doing the Budget Beauty month in September, quite a few people asked me to try this particular foundation. It didn't come in time, but now it's here, £2.89. I mean, I say it didn't come in time, it probably took like a week and a half, and it was towards the end, so it's not like it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. I bought it from Amazon. We're going to try it out today. The colour that I've got is 102 Nude. Oh, okay, that looks quite, I don't know if it's the light or what, but, oh no, okay, that's not so bad. I was going to say it looks quite ash. It looked a little bit kind of almost grey. So as I did with the previous ones, foundation reviews we did earlier this year, I'm going to do half with a sponge and half with a brush. This is already much heavier than I anticipated. Like, oh my goodness, like mask-like. Okay, it doesn't look bad. It blended out really, really nicely. I'm concerned that it does look heavy kind of around here and around my pores. So the fine lines in the pores, the area where it can really kind of settle with a heavier coverage foundation, it kind of immediately looks really quite heavy to me. But I'm not used to wearing a very heavy concealer foundation. So it might just be that. I am nervous now because I feel like with a foundation like this, it tends to go on best with a sponge, but we'll see. It's really not bad. I would say it clings slightly. I have a little bit of dryness around my chin and it just clings slightly there. The finish immediately is kind of like a natural, like a semi-matte finish. I wouldn't say it was a matte, but it is. Again, bear in mind, this is something that is very, very different to what I usually wear. I usually wear quite, not sheer, but very, very natural finish foundations, something that looks like my skin and really not this much coverage. So already I'm like, wow, this is very different, but it doesn't feel super unnatural. This is not something that I've put on and thought, oh, I don't like it at all. It's impressive. £2.89, just a reminder, that's very, very cheap. It's impressive because I mean, if it feels heavy, it looks heavy to me, but the finish is very natural and it's blended out really, really nicely with both applications. So I'm going to put a little bit more makeup on now and come back. Everything went on top really, really nicely. I am quietly confident about this one. So it's about 10 o'clock now. I'm going to come back to you in around 6 hours. We'll see how this has lasted. And yeah, I don't like £2.89. We're 4 hours in. I've just come back to collect Milo from school and not bad. I've just really looked in the mirror in the car and I'm getting a little bit oily. Not amazing oil control because there's a good amount kind of around here. I haven't really been touching my face too much. This is the first time I've left the house. I wasn't expecting to be like super, super oily, just being in the house, but there's definitely kind of the telltale areas that I'm used to getting oily. It's happening. So this is not massive oil control, but I didn't put on any kind of setting spray. I put a small amount of powder on, but this is the majority of this is like what the actual foundation is doing, like how it's performing. But in terms of coverage, it's still really good. The finish is still pretty good. 4 hours, did I say? 10? No, maybe 4.5? I ended up leaving it longer than I intended because it was just lasting so well. So it's been about 7.5 hours. And the only reason I'm taking it off now is because I want to go and get in the bath. But I thought I would just check in and give you a close-up on my skin. I should have done that earlier. I'm so sorry I forgot. But this is the most important time, isn't it? I can completely see why people were telling me I needed to try this. When I saw it on Amazon, I thought, it's so cheap. It's surely going to be terrible. I mean, I'm all for budget foundations. Budget bases tend to be much, much better now than they used to be, but I was very judgmental of the cost of this one, and it is incredible. When I say that, I'm comparing it to other products. Obviously, it's not perfect. There's still certain things that could be better. It's kind of like it's held up a little bit better here, less so here, but I think I've had a scarf on, and I can kind of explain that away in my mind. I don't think when I look in the mirror, I'm looking at any particular area and thinking, God, that looks terrible. Or even like it looks particularly bad. I know that's like really, really low bar. That looks terrible. But You know what I mean? Like, it's held up really, really well. And even now, I haven't powdered, I haven't retouched at all. I said earlier on it wasn't very good for oil control, but it's not bad because I am very oily. Couple of things to know, it's not transfer proof and it doesn't set. So here, for example, you can see where, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but I can see in the mirror where it's kind of like got some marks in it. Basically, I can wipe it off with my finger. I was gonna say with my fingerprints, with my fingertips. I can kind of move it around. It never totally sets on the skin. So if that's something you're looking for, especially with it saying that it's long wear, then this is not going to be it. However, I think that's what enables it to have that really natural finish, and it means that it doesn't kind of cling in the same way because it's not really drying. It does slightly settle around my fine lines here, but again, it's a much heavier foundation than I'm used to wearing, and so I think part of that is the fact that it is just a higher coverage, a heavier product, as opposed to that it's settling that way. I think it always kind of looked a little bit heavier around there than I'm used to, or rather than I'm used to. But I would love to hear from you guys that have tried this foundation, that tend to wear those kind of foundations, how it compares for you compared to other things that you actually use on a regular basis. Also, have you tried anything else from this brand? Because I think I'm going to need to pick some things up now. I'm so impressed. I fully intended to test this thinking, it'll be a bit of a gimmick. It's really, really inexpensive. It's probably not going to be that great. I mean, the whole packaging and stuff obviously has a bit of a rip-off of The Ordinary. I thought it's trying to do something, kind of piggyback off the back of something else that's very successful. And it's probably not that great, the actual product, but it is. I really, really like it. Maybe too heavy for me to wear on a regular basis, but I would be interested in trying some other stuff that is maybe more suited to what I tend to wear anyway. So yeah, any recommendations welcome. Thank you for that one, for those of you that told me to try it. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. There's going to be every other day content all through November and December. There's going to be vlogs, there's going to be shopping stuff, there's going to be beauty reviews like this. And so if you're into a mix of festive content, then don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Well, I've got news for you, I know you're waiting. VLOGMAS is right here. Hold on, it's time for it to reappear.